Results of a fan survey polling Dallas fans on a number of topics. One of them was, who's the most overrated player on the team? Dak Prescott, runaway winner, 251 of the votes, 100 more than the next highest player, Micah Parsons. Speaking of no-show in the playoffs, Micah Parsons, go look up his stats. So Dak, most overrated player, your thoughts?
No, he is. He's also good, but overrated and good, two things can be true. He's a good player, but $60 million a year, which he's going to get. All these people on the internet, top 5 quarterback. No, he's not. He doesn't throw
10, top 10.
At the very end, maybe. And that's not a hot take. He doesn't throw an elite ball. He's not elite. He's not an elite in terms of mobility, like a Lamar or a Jordan Love or a Josh Allen. So he's not an elite mover. He moves okay. He doesn't move any better than Tony Romo, and Tony Romo didn't get credit for being an elite runaround guy. They both run the same. They're both fine. He's not an elite thrower of the football. He's not in the same class as Mahomes, Allen, Herbert, Burrow. So what's he elite at? Leadership, toughness. He's great at that stuff. I love him. He's very Kirk Cousins. I love him in all the stuff, but moving and throwing is okay. It's B. It's okay.
I forgot. Who was the runner-up to the MVP award last year in the entire NFL? Who was it?
I don't know. Let me guess, a Cowboy quarterback.
Oh, it happens all the time. Tony Romo, how many MVP runner-ups? Coward, this is a plucky start to the show, if you will, for me. Just the denigration of Dak Prescott. He's not top 5. Bottom of the top 10. Runner-up.
I think if you polled general managers, they'd have him somewhere in the 8, 9, 10, 11 range. I think that's what GMs would say.
And listen, I'm not going to defend Dak in the playoffs.
For the record, that's why I have him. I'll have him closer to 10, 11. Some have him closer to 8. But at the end of this season, when Herbert finally gets a coach, okay, Herbert's going to elevate beyond what a lot of people. And if Jalen Hurts has kind of another solid year, he does more things well than Dak. So this will be a very interesting year for Dak because, as we know, he's got one receiver of note. One.
Well, wait a minute. I don't even think this is a fair year to grade or judge Dak. Coach is basically lame duck, right? Doesn't have an extension. CeeDee Lamb is the only receiver, and he's angry. Micah Parsons is complaining. New defensive coordinator. No running back room. Like, they have stacked the deck against Dak this year.
Well, it's what they've done. You could say it's sinister, but what they've done in a contract year is make the team very Dak reliant. There was a story today that they want to get the CD deal done first, which I certainly think that's a reasonable take, is get your star receiver. Everybody needs one. You drafted him, you hit on him. But what the Cowboys are doing is they're saying, Dak, if we're going to pay you 60, we just watched Mahomes win a Super Bowl with no number 1 or 2 wide receiver. We just watched him the year before win a Super Bowl with Juju Smith-Schuster as his number 1 receiver.
So what are you saying? Hey, Dak, go be Pat Mahomes?
No. If you want to be paid like Pat, then we're not stacking the deck for you, because Dallas feels deep down, and they may be right, we kind of stacked the early deck, best O-line, Zeke, Amari Cooper, offensive coaches, and you didn't deliver in January. So this year, and by the way, every year is fair to judge Dak. He's in his 9th season now. We all know what he is. So I do think Dallas is saying inside the building privately, we stacked the deck early and we didn't get any January, February moments. Now, bro, this is on you. And if you want to get Mahomes money, you got to win multiple playoff games in the weaker conference.
Hey, Jerry, Dak Prescott here. I don't want Patrick Mahomes money. I want what the market says I'm worth. I don't want Patrick Mahomes money. Give me what the market says, quarterbacks, what the going rate is. That's what I want.
When you throw 14 interceptions this year and we finish with 9 wins, the market says closer to 2.
Wait. I'm talking about now. I want my money now, just like Jordan Love. Jordan Love wants it now.
No, it's not the same. Jordan Love has shown innate, unique athletic skills that Dak doesn't possess. Moves much better, got a better arm, and went into Dallas with the youngest team in the league and destroyed Dak. That was not just an eye test. That was Jordan Love's much more talented. There's a reason he went in the first round, Dak in the 4th. And Green Bay doesn't stack the deck. They pay the good players, but Green Bay spends the least amount of money in the league on offense right now. They're not stacking the deck. Jordan Love led the league in everything for 8 weeks, playing with the youngest team in the league. That's a whole different ball game than, well, Dak gets MVP votes.
8-game sample size versus a full season
How
runner-up
long
MVP?
do you have to watch American Idol? How long do you have to watch a singer to go
I refuse
awful
to watch
or
reality
really good?
shows. I could tell Taylor Swift was
Talent jumps off the TV. We knew Joe Burrow, Herbert, Mahomes, Lamar. You know year one if they can play. And then you know by middle of year two if they're going to be a star. It doesn't take that long to see talent. It really doesn't. Once a guy gets to the, it's hard to judge college to pro or high school to college. It's not hard to judge once a guy's in the NFL, he can play or he can't play. Kevin Garnett came out of high school. Second year in the league, you're like, oh, Wemby, 4 games in. The summer league. Oh, it doesn't take that much time to go, dude can ball.
So Jordan Love does deserve that big money.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes does not.
No, Mahomes can get whatever he wants.
I'm sorry, Dak does not deserve it, but
no.
Jordan Love does.
Yeah.
Just want to make
That's
that
how
clear.
I view it. Yeah.
Boy, you cooking up some takes on that flight, huh? Woo! Final story is Team USA. Now, I don't know if you saw this during your lobster. Start with the Baltimore Ravens, Colin. They had their first team practice of training camp Sunday. Lamar Jackson was not there. He was sent home with an illness. And, last time we talked to the Ravens, they were getting their doors blown off at home by the Chiefs. Maybe that's strong, but they were favored and they did not show up.
True.
At any rate, the media is asking John Harbaugh about criticism directed at Lamar, who's got 2 MVPs, but struggled in the playoffs, about Lamar not reaching the Super Bowl. Here's Harbaugh's response.
There's a lot of great things said about Lamar, but there's a lot of stuff that's said that you got to just scratch your head about and kind of wonder, what's that person even thinking, So, but we take it personally. He's got a growth mindset. He's going to get better and better, no doubt. But what does he have to do to prove himself to some people, right? And the vision that we have together is that Lamar Jackson is going to become and be known and be recognized as the greatest quarterback ever to play in the history of the National Football League.
You know what's interesting? I'm going to give you 4 players. Outside of these 4 quarterbacks, Brady, Mahomes, Joe Montana, and Eli Manning. Now just listen.
All right.
Super Bowls and playoffs are really hard. When Eli made them, he was great. Brady, Montana, Mahomes, and Eli. Take those 4 out. Peyton Manning got his doors blown off in a Super Bowl. Peyton Manning struggled for years early playoff game. John Elway got his doors blown out in the playoffs and Super Bowls. If you take out 4 quarterbacks, Brady, Montana, Mahomes, and strangely, Eli Manning, who when they made the playoffs went on these crazy runs, they're hard for Aaron Rodgers. They were hard for Brett Favre. They were hard for Elway. They're hard for everybody. They're hard for Josh Allen. Playoffs are hard. The coaching's better.
Yeah.
I mean, the weather's crappy, so there's weird stuff that happen. I mean, Brady one time got his hand ripped before a game and somehow miraculously overcame it. But my takeaway on Lamar is if you are special, win 76% of your games, every quarterback except those 4, maybe Bart Starr, didn't see him play, obviously. Everybody struggles in the playoffs. Even Mahomes got his doors blown off in a Super Bowl when he didn't have his tackles.
Everybody does struggle in the playoffs.
It's
harder,
hard.
obviously, and the sample size is tiny.
Tiny.
You have 60 minutes, you have a bad game.
It's over.
That being said, Colin, one of these years he's got to break through, right?
It's this year.
Definitely not this year. You want to go ahead and take the Ravens for the Super Bowl, but listen, we can defend him all we want, sure. Like Peyton Manning struggled. I think it was his first 5 years.
Yeah,
he had no playoff wins.
Yeah.
But we're in now a social media era where it's like, hey, deliver or you're going to get ripped.
Yeah, I mean, we consider Jalen Hurts to be a really good quarterback. And if you take out one great year with Shane Steichen, we're not quite sure what he is. Dak Prescott has had almost no success. How many years he been playing in the postseason at all? So the quarterbacks we like struggle in the playoffs. Josh Allen's as talented as anybody I've ever seen. It's very rare when you're Bradshaw and you get the Hall of Fame coach, the Hall of Fame offensive line, stalwart, great defense. That you can't build that anymore. So what you hope, you can't build a team as good as Bradshaw's Steelers. So what you hope is that you get the GM and the coach like Mahomes or Brady. When Brady early had Scott Pioli, Belichick, good ownership. Because even those New England teams had holes all over the offense. In Kansas City, they don't have a receiving core the last 2 years. So my take is salary cap has eliminated the 75 Steelers. That stuff doesn't exist.